Well, you've joined me today at Hayton Lakes for a little bit of method work down the edge. I'll just show you where I'm fishing down the edge. Lift this camera up and just show you. Just fishing on the edge of that tree there. Hayton Lakes, it's old gravel pit, so it deepens off really quick. So I'm fishing in quite shallow water, and I'm using green swim stim pellets with 2 mil green swim stim pellets, betaine green pellet soak with marine halibut ground bait. I'm using a medium flatbed method feeder, 14 hooks, 7 mil speedy washer. Rod wise, I'm using the X5. This is the brand new X5. It's coming out next year. 10-foot precision feeder. Aero XR 5000, 8-pound mainline. Let's load it up and hopefully get a bite. The bites, they're weird. They're not been coming really quick. I've been having to leave my feeder in for quite a while. So put some bait in like so. Compress that. And spin the camera around so you can see that. Yeah, just plopping it there down the edge. So let's swap angles now. Tighten it up and wait for a bite. That's on. That's what I love about this lake. The fish really do pull. Angry carp. Lovely fish. Let's quickly show you in the net. Look at that. Hey, Beautiful fish, fit mirrors. Slide him back and try and catch another. Feeder ready. Put it down there. And the rest. Now, of course, what you've got to remember is on all commercials, especially in the afternoon, what time is it now? 3:15. This is the prime time where you catch down the edge on all approaches, pole, order feeder. Fish come down the edge looking for bait. If you want to target big fish on commercials, this is the time of the day to come, especially in the spring, summer and autumn when the light's still good in the late afternoon. This is how you're going to catch the bigger fish in the lake, on commercials especially. So I've just fed literally a few handfuls of what I'm binding around the feeder down the edge, and then drop my method over the top. And you can imagine that yellow hook bait just standing proud of my mix is a real contrast bait, which it often forces them to take your hook bait quite quickly. You can try all kinds of colours, but yellow for me is my favourite colour, without a shadow of a doubt. It resembles the most popular bait for all species, which is sweet corn. That's why I've got a lot of confidence in it. Winter and summer, it's a great colour. And sometimes on these venues where you're targeting the bigger fish down the edge, it's not a case of dropping your feeder in all the time. It's a case of dropping it. There we go, got one on. Pick up. This has just hooked itself. I think this is a brie. Is it a brie? No, it's an F1. There's a little F1. Got some. In you go. Lovely fish. Condition of that. Okay. Right in the bottom lip and all. Slide it back. Let's see if we can get a bigger one. Again, nothing up with the hook bait. Perfectly okay. Check the point of the hook as well. That's nice and sharp. Feeder loaded. Let's go down the edge. Check, yep. So all I'm doing is just swinging the feeder. I'm using that little branch as my marker. That's where, more or less, where I need to be every drop. Focus on that rod. And if you notice, I haven't got my tip bent round. I've got my line slack because I want the line to be soft when the fish brush into it. If I tighten up to it, it's too tight and you can often spook fish out of your peg. And especially when you're margin fishing, you do get a lot of liners by having your line soft, not tight to the tip, cushions that movement and stops your feeder moving, which is really important. So with this rod, I've got the softest tip in to cushion that movement. Whereas a lot of people might think, right, you're fishing for big fish, let's get a stiff tip in. You want completely the opposite. You want a really soft tip, so you can tell when there's a fish in your peg, because you get line, it magnifies the movement in your peg. You can see when you get it right and come at the right time in the day, how enjoyable this way of fishing is. Literally with one rod. It's an F1. I mean, look at the condition of that. Especially in, again, bottom lip. Especially in match conditions, this approach is absolutely deadly. Especially in that last hour, wind transsummer. All you've got to choose is the right depth of fish in. Let's load it up again. And what I mean by that is when the water goes clear in the winter, you tend to want to be further away from the bank where it's slightly deeper water and the fish feel a little bit safer. And on that edge again. Feeders in, back on the tip. You see the tip's bent there, I'm not happy with that, so all I do to spew about a long rest, just move the tip along rather than adjust the reel, just move the tip along the rod rest to slacken that line off. Because of the setup that I'm using, the fish is hooking itself against the bead that's sitting against the feeder, because the fish lifts up the bait and pulls against the feeder. Even with a completely free running setup like what this is, it is a bolt rig system that it does hook itself against the weight of the feeder as it lifts the hook bait off the bottom. So when the tip goes around, it's not a case of striking, the fish has already been hooked. You just lift up, and the advantage to that is sometimes you don't panic the fish. If you pick the rod up and strike, you can panic the fish and it runs out of your peg even faster. Sometimes, like what happened there, if you pick up nice and soft, you can actually reel the fish in and keep it in its calm state where it's not gone into panic mode, and that helps you land fish a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently as well. Minimal noise as well when you're fishing down the edge very close to yourself. And you can see it's not instant. It's almost as if the fish are coming into the peg and feeding on the bait that's separated from the feeder. So they're not attacking the feeder, they're just eating on the bait that's dispersed from the feeder once it's settled. And sometimes long casting, fishing your feeder in the water for a longer period of time, catches those better fish for that reason. Whereas if you're constantly making too much disturbance, the bigger fish wise up to it and they back away from it. It's only when it goes nice and quiet your peg that the big fish come down the edge sometimes. And this is why it's good to actually rotate left and right to rest each side, because the chances are when you drop on whatever side you've left and rested, you get a good run of fish, but more importantly you often get the bigger fish straight away when you've dropped in. Absolutely awesome way of catching fish, this. I absolutely love it. Cup of tea in hand. Waiting for the rod to go around. Catching some lovely fish. Angry mirrors right in the bottom lip. Get the hook out. Hopefully he'll behave. Oh, get it. Look at that. Beautiful. Sliding back. Well, I hope you enjoyed the short video and put it to use on your local commercial.